Good morning, Cancer, and welcome to your Sunday, September 29th. Had to think about it. September 29th tarot reading. This is Triple Cancer Tarot. What I'm going to be doing is laying out a Celtic cross for you for today. This is like a tarot diary. Cancer is like the ocean. So with these readings, what I intend to do is go a little bit deeper. I mean, we'll talk about love and career, but it's not going to be so much of an external exercise as much as what's going on under the surface for Cancer. Okay. When we think about the ocean, when we think about deep seas, we think about water, we think about currents. Still waters run deep. There's a lot of currents going on this way and that way. What I find you at is on a soul level today. It looks like you're balancing some things out. You have a lot of currents going on underneath. You're trying to work things out psychologically, emotionally, mentally, as well as perhaps what your next move ought to be. Bit of nostalgia, bit of looking at the past, bit of considering the future, how to transmute the past to a successful future. You're in a safe space to do this. I like this, that this is being done on a soul level. It means you have wonderful control of your mental faculties and your spiritual faculties. And with this being crossed by an Ace of Pentacles, you're stepping into this with confidence, a groundedness. Ace of Pentacles, think of it like a seed being planted in the earth. It doesn't get much more grounded than that. Whereas in the past, perhaps, conflicting thoughts, emotions, what do I feel, that can kind of really take us off course. But what I'm sensing what's happening for Cancer, especially lately, is there's just this newfound groundedness that you have going on. An understanding that actually these currents that go on underneath, well, if ungrounded, if unsettled, if too much in here, can really lead us into, an imaginary land that doesn't actually exist. And sometimes could pull us into situations with people, jobs, that it's like, this really isn't cut out for me. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm sensing with that Ace of Pentacles, you know yourself well enough through trial and error in the past to be like, no, I know who I am. And it's actually safe to have these currents going on underneath, and rather being driven by them, you're the one who's in control of them. Very magical. Very, very, think of it like a magician who's, casting with a wand, casting out, a spell, and the energy is just, or that, you go outside and have the atmosphere, the air moving, circulating around you, but you don't move. Only with this, it's more like, because it's in the spiritual frame, temperance, things balancing out, you are much more in control of your emotional landscape. It's not running you, you are running it. I just took a very long way around of explaining that. The other thing that I'm seeing happening with the Temperance card showing, all of this reconciliation is, it may seem like, hot and cold don't mix, but they actually do. They come together to form one, the sink. You know what I'm saying? So the current, or like the currents all doing this. It's all one ocean, isn't it, at the end of the day? So you're finding a settlement, basically. is basically what's happening. You are taking this Sunday to sort of move through emotions, recognize that it's all one thing and it's all safe and that you control it. It doesn't control you, and you have a firm foundation to stand on. What we have going on beneath you is a Knight of Wands. Now this could be, Knight of Swords, Lord of the Winds and Breezes. This kind of speaks to the temperance. I think what's happening too, Cancer, is you're starting to gain a lot more control over your thinking, which dictates a lot of how you feel, and a lot of how you feel dictates a lot of how you think. Below you, I think you used to kind of, how to say it? Have you ever wanted to belong to a group of people, but they didn't really want you? So you put out and you give and you give and you give, and nothing comes back in return, and in the end you're just, and there's sort of like this, why did I invest? It's like you had this fantasy of what this job or these people or this relationship was going to be like, but it didn't turn out. And the reason for that is because we were looking maybe more at like what the outcome could be rather than what the actual situation was. Because the one thing about this knight, he gets an idea and he goes, but he's also kind of reckless about it. He's not a king. A king has thoughts and then sets up a structure for how we could practically make this happen. And we look yes or no with no emotion. Does this fit the bill? Does this not? This guy just sort of rushes ahead, and he's wonderful. It's a good card to get in certain circumstances, especially if you've got a breakneck idea. However, he does throw caution to the wind, and sometimes because, we think of when you're driving a car, right? Sure, we enjoy the scenery, but the primary needs to be on the road. What's going on in front of us. So we can kind of miss our surroundings, kind of miss what's going on. I don't want to say, this sounds negative, but a certain naivete, and I think we've all done this, so please don't take that. I'm not insulting anything with that. It's just, I don't even want to use that word. I don't like that. It's just more like you're not seeing everything going on around you, because it's like something driven, most likely, these in a more younger stage, a desire. Everyone wants to belong. Everyone wants successful career. Everyone wants successful relationships. But sometimes we want that so bad that we don't really look at what's actually happening, and we can get really invested and then be like, wait, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. In the past, though, I'm sure you've realized that, because the other thing is a horse can't run forever. Sooner or later you get tired, it burns itself out. And while it looks like, oh, these were mishaps, these were mistakes, no, what you were doing, Lord of Dominion, Two of Wands, is burning off all of the excess, the unnecessary, the fluff, the realizing like you don't need any of that you thought you needed. In fact, this pentacle, with this going on underneath, Lord of Dominion, look at this as being your world, because in the traditional Rider-Waite, he's got the world in his hands, and you do too. You've burned off enough excess to know exactly who you are, where you want to go, and you've realized that already. Meaning, like a couple weeks back, I think it dawned on Cancer, like, wait a minute, why am I seeking this? It should come to me. And that's what you're doing with Seven of Pentacles. Lord of Success Unfulfilled. You're planting seeds. And unlike this Knight of Swords, you're not rushing. You're not constantly looking back. Is it growing? Is it not? Where's the outcome? Is it working? Is it not? That Ace of Pentacles is a confident. I love these two center cards because you're very confident in who you are. You're very confident that if you do indeed plant seeds, they will indeed grow. So you're okay with success unfulfilled. I think right now it's crowning you as you're just enjoying your power. You're enjoying being the farmer. You're enjoying planting the seeds. You're enjoying a new sense of peace too, and understanding and confidence is what I'm sensing happening for you, Cancer. Moving ahead, what we have is the Princess of Cups, Princess of the Palace of Floods. And that's great because here again with the Daughter of the Reconcilers, I mean, let's look at that. Water into a vat, reconciling it. Let this represent the vat. Let this represent the person pouring the water. I believe on the side, what are these two? If you know this deck, this is the Hermetic Tarot. I think this is Virgo, heart chakra, and then I'm not quite sure what that sign is. I'm sorry. Maybe an air sign? Point being, though, is everything is being reconciled. So now if you want to expend an emotion, Princess of Cups, you can offer a cup without over-giving. You're offering a cup, not the whole ocean. And with the Princess of the Palace of Floods, she's not the knight, so it's not even in motion. It's more like looking around you, being like, well, where do I want to offer my cup to? Where do I want to plant these 7 pentacles? Because you do have something solid, and you know that. Your attitude is the King of Swords. So see, we went from the Knight. I forgot that this guy was even in the spread. We went from the Knight to the King. So again, this isn't rushing ahead, breakneck speed. It's more like, is it practical? So with this newfound cup, and this cup is going to be even more valuable because you know what's in it, rather than, again, because when we're trying to get, basically we're operating on a lack mentality. But when we're giving just for fun and for free, we know the value in the cup, and we don't lose anything by giving it. The thing is be wise where you give the cup. Where's the best place for you to give the cup? Do you know what I mean? It's not so much can I help, but what's the appropriate amount of help? When and where is it wise to help? Do these people even want my help? Do you know what I mean? How many times have we tried to help people, and it's like they really don't want your help. But standing strong on Ace of Pentacles, you'll just attract the right people to you. You know what I mean? I've had mentors. They didn't seek me out. They had something I saw in them, and I went to them. You know what I mean? And there's been times in life where people will come to me. But it's never, ever been like, let me chase you down and give you this. That just never works out. And your environment is the Hanged Man. This could also just speak to the fact that it's Sunday. But again, on a soul level, where is it best to give? You're looking at things from a new perspective, but where is it best to give the cup? And you're content not giving the cup as well. What I'm feeling with this Hanged Man is just kind of like a circle. Let's pretend this is your aura. There's just a circle of serenity, I think, surrounding you right now. And you have a cup to offer, but your environment is like, look, there's the Hanged Man is happy in solitude. And I find the Hanged Man to be quite a peaceful card, because the Hanged Man has been going so frantic, he has to hang upside down to get a different kind of perspective. But it's through silence and careful listening to ourselves, and a careful listening to what other people are actually saying, that we can correctly see what's going on in any situation. So I just sense it's not loneliness, it's solitude going on around you right now. Yes, you have a cup to give. No, you're not eager. 7 of Cups, where's the best possible place? Where do I plant seeds? Also could be you've already planted seeds and now you're just waiting for them to come back to you. You've been doing the work. So this Hanged Man, there's no need to rush. You're going to be attracting rather than promoting. And, if you don't know the plan just yet, give yourself a minute. Give yourself today. Give yourself as much time as you need. Because through that silence, you'll get this King of Swords going for you. Structure. Might need that temperance. Just let everything settle down before we can have our feet on the floor in understanding. Hopes and fears. It's not, don't let the Hanged Man fool you. Don't let the Temperance and the Ace of Pentacles, because those are starts. Don't let the 7 of Pentacles fool you. Ace of Swords says you will be going into action. I hope you want to go into action. And I think you're kind of done, because I always say the double-edged sword, right? So one side is positive, one side is negative. But again, with the Temperance, in the Tao Te Ching, there's a quote like, is there a difference between yes and no? No. Hot and cold, it's one sink. Temperance, it's one pentacle. This is one sword. So I don't think you're doing the am I good enough, am I not good enough thing. That's like this Two of Wands, right? Two wands, two sides to the sword, but the fire burns itself off. You need both sides to have a singular sword, and you are now that whole and complete sword. So hopes and fears, I don't see much that you fear. I think in the past perhaps you feared, am I good enough, am I not good enough, what if this works out, what if this doesn't work out. But with these pentacles, especially those 7 being crowned, you know, and people say it's like, here it says Lord of Success Unfulfilled. I disagree. Success is fulfilled. The guy planted the seeds, he's waiting, he's looking. That's the one thing in that card though, don't wait and look. Move forward confidently with the Ace of Swords. Know that you're the whole package and continue to plant seeds. At the outcome, what we get is the 10 of Wands. So I think what's going to happen with this Temperance, with whatever else you need to be working out within yourself, you're going to be dropping those wands at the end of the day. You're going to actually have, you know, the plan in place, because the 10 of Wands drops the burden and knows how to delegate and doesn't try to take everything on itself. And through this Hanged Man energy, because 10 of Wands, Lord of Oppression, the 10 Wands is he's setting down the burden. Through this Hanged Man energy, through this Temperance on a soul level, you're laying down your burdens at the end of the day. You'll just know too, you know, as far as delegation, that can also speak to what plan of action you need to be taking. Whatever's been holding you back, I don't think it'll be holding you back much longer. Laying down the, is it good enough, is it not good enough? You're like, it's one thing, it's one pentacle, it's one sword. As far as your career goes today, we got the Universe. So again, great one of the nighttime. Number one, what I would highly recommend as far as career goes, give it to God. Whatever you got going on up there for you. You know, I use the word God, it doesn't matter. I mean, the card is the Universe. Give it up to whatever. Spirit, co-create with that. Because again, this Knight of Swords, you know, he's looking ahead. King of Swords, it's more like, kind of like the Godhead, like I oversee. This guy does not oversee, this one does. But since you can oversee, and again, you only become a king because you were a knight first. So to have that king status, you have to understand that yes, there is this. Yes, there is so much I can do. But yes, there's also this other thing called the Universe that can come in and aid. So don't hesitate as far as career goes to be seeking out guidance from your higher self, the Universe, where you want to be going. Also, whatever it is you were doing, I sense here, especially with this 10 of Wands, Knight of Swords below you, 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so let's say the 7 of Pentacles could speak to this Temperance, the reconciliation, looking at things in the past that didn't work. What worked, what didn't. That's how you get to this. And then there's a pause, Hanged Man, before you take action with the swords and you let it all down. But either way, what this Universe speaks to is you have fully graduated and learned these lessons. Past career-wise. You're not going to be going back to the same kind of work you used to do before. You're not going to be going back to the same kind of environment you used to subject yourself to. You're ready for something new. Perhaps going back to school, perhaps getting a job that you thought I could never do, perhaps writing down a vision of what you want your life to really look like and then start going for it. With faith, by the way. Hanged Man has a lot of faith. That's that circle of solitude, right? Going on around. Relationships, 10 of Swords. Again, this speaks to the Universe. I mean, that couldn't go more hand in hand. 10 of Swords talks about pain in the past, but it's over. You may have felt stabbed in the back. Maybe that's what you're reconciling. Maybe that's your 7 of Pentacles, things that didn't work out in the past. But I see here at the end of the day, you know, especially with this Princess of Cups, you know, you're garnering up your strength to go out there again. But whatever's been carrying, whatever you hope works out, whatever didn't work out, whatever situationships you may find, I just think you might be over it. and you're like, look, I'm done with that. I've graduated. And that doesn't mean you're moving on to a new person either. It could just be, if you are in a relationship, things that have been bothering you, by the end of the day, you're going to have that 10 of Wands. You're going to tie a nice bow and be able to set it down and continue. Come to again, with delegation, good conversation, good flow, good reconciler. Daughter of the reconcile. So if you're in a relationship that's been having trouble, I see that working out. If you're out of a relationship, you can't get it off your mind, or you've been sad about the situation, how things played, I see you kind of being done with that by the end of the day. If you are looking for love, I sense you not really looking. Meaning, it'll come to you. You're not going to stress. You're not going to be a Knight of Swords about it. A Knight of Swords about it. You'll be a King of Swords about it. If it comes, great. But does this person have what you want to give your cup to? You'll be a lot wiser about your decisions there. One more card overall for this whole reading. I think this is a really powerful reading. I think it's a really positive reading, Cancer. Just don't skimp on the reconciliation. But I don't even think this feels like work for you anymore. I think in the past it might have been kind of confusing, but with that Ace of Pentacles over, it's like putting a stamp on it. This ain't your first rodeo. You're maturing at a rapid rate, and your outcome is the Sun. The overall is the Sun, the happiest card. All plants growing up to the Sun, this is what you're shooting for, right? So again, the Sun could also represent, a lot of murkiness, a lot of like shadows, and a lot of and I think today what you're doing is you're letting the light in on all of that. And by the end of the day, with this 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords, universe, up-leveling, King of Swords, you're mastering your mind, you're mastering your soul. Ace of Swords, knowing that you're enough and it's all one thing. That Sun today is a great Sunday, Sunday for illumination. So everything's coming to light. There is joy in organization. Chaos is fun for a while, but too much. But then through chaos, we get order. So I think you're burning off, again, this Two of Wands, you've burned off all past chaos. And while maybe you're like, yeah, but nothing's happening, the seeds are planted, it's there. That chaos is the soil that you've planted the seeds in. And now you have the Sun. You're smarter, you're wiser, you know what you have to offer, you're not afraid to do it, and you are moving forward in that direction. Sun card overall. So this was a really powerful, wonderful, positive reading. Speaking of powerful, wonderful, and positive, I want you to know how powerful and wonderful and positive you actually are and can be. So thank you for joining me today. This has been your Tarot Diary for, I believe it's the 29th of September. I'm not always good with the dates. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, go ahead, click, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care, stay healthy, and be well.